Hi, in this quick video, I'm going to show you what the SaaS agency system is, how it works, what's included. The idea behind the SaaS agency system was to build a system that helps you really quickly sell SaaS, your white label version of GHL, to potential customers to the market that you're going after. It's a system that I've built initially for my own agency called Stand Out from the Pack, and everything that you're seeing here on this website is what's included on in the snapshot in the system that you'd be looking to purchase. There is a system I call the profit roadmap, where you also get included this page, which actually helps you sell each of the modules. The way it works is with the profit roadmap, you have 10 different modules. Now, these modules, they come separate. They're not part of the SaaS agency system. However, because the page is part of it, you can start to sell the systems. And then when you make that first sale, then you can come back around to me and buy that system. So now you can start to on sell it to your clients. That's the idea of how I did it. Now you can find out more information about the profit roadmap specifically by going to vitmuller.com. Let me just go to the right side. Vitmuller.com, click on GHL snapshots, and then scroll down here, get to 10-step profit roadmap framework, click on that learn more button, and you can learn how it works, what's the logic behind it, what are the modules, and make an informed decision whether this is the right approach that you want to take for your agency. But this is the approach that I take at my agency, and it works really well. The main thing why it works so well is that you get to sell SaaS on the front end and then upsell individual module in an ascension ladder to your customer. Meaning, instead of selling a potential customer the whole enchilada, the whole Rolls Royce, where you'd have to be configuring a lot of workflows, a lot of things to be building in their sub account. Instead, what you do is you sell them module at a time, and you do it in a way that is smart. Because if you sell something that is big, you have to charge a lot of money, which often customers don't have budget for. But if you break it down into modules, you can sell them just that one module, which is cheaper for them to buy, less friction, and then easier for you to fulfill. Meaning, at the end result is that they have something active in their sub account a lot quicker. They can start to gain some success with it. And then a month later, you come back around to that customer again and say, okay, I think you're ready for the next module, and then you upsell them again. So that's the beauty here. Is let me just go back to the agency, right? So on my website, people go here and initially they are interested in the software. Now, the way I generate traffic and how I get them interested in the software, that's whole another conversation. I'm not going to cover marketing here on this video. I just want to demonstrate the platform and specifically the SaaS agency system. But just to let you in on the sales process is customers come in, they pick one of these plans. But once again, what you're looking at here is what's part of the SaaS agency system, right? Now, so they pick one of these plans, they sign up. On the next page, they're presented with a purchase checkout page, they pay, and then they're taken to a one-click up, done for them setup just for the account, not to do with the modules, which they can purchase right there and then or purchase it later. Now, let me show you the backend. I'm in my live agency account here. What you can see here is there's some of the old, like unrelated stuff here. These two folders, you don't have to worry about these. And these last three folders here, don't worry about those. Just look at these ones here, 1 through to 5. These are individual folders. Each one of them consists of a whole bunch of different funnels. Lead gen funnels, there's 2 funnels. Sales funnels, there's 7. Account setup and onboarding funnels, there's 12. And then there's customer support funnels, 3 of them there. And then a profit roadmap system, which are the sales pages, so that you can start to pitch these systems to a client. And when you do have money, you then come back to me and you can purchase those. Just to clarify what I mean by that again, on Vit Muller Consulting website, my website, you can start with the SaaS agency system. You purchase that one. It helps you sell SaaS. It helps you onboard customers. It helps you support them. And it helps you start to pitch the individual modules like the essential business marketing system, appointment booking system, or the reputation management system to your customers. And if they buy it, you can then just simply go to my website, purchase it. I will then, within 24 hours, give you the snapshot link, and then you can start to import it into your clients and then fulfill. On these sales pages, by the way, you can scroll through and you can get yourself informed about every single module, what it includes and how it works. There's a lot of information. I've put a lot of effort and time into developing this, and there's a really robust documentation that will not leave you hanging. That's one of the things. If snapshots in the marketplace, you might buy it, and then you end up having a snapshot, but you don't actually know how it works. Not with me. When you buy a snapshot from me, you get a really robust ClickUp documentation. Let me just show you a really quick example. Okay, so here's a quick example of the Essential Business Marketing System. It's a ClickUp document that you get access to as a view only. View only because I keep it up to date and I don't want anybody messing with it. But the beauty about it is that you always get up to date source of documentation. It includes all the technical aspects from workflows and everything, all the way down to the setup, how you set it up, how you install the system into your client's sub account or your agency account, the final testing checklist. Everything is in there, everything documented, everything explained, even to the very detail of individual tags. You have a long list here of the tags that are part of the snapshot. And when you want to find out a little bit more information, like what's the purpose of the tag, how does the tag get added, which workflow removes this tag, everything is documented and is referenced to the other sections of the document. For example, how does this tag get added is by an automation. And here's the automation. The automation's name is Clean List System, email unsubscribed. You can click on it and it takes you straight to that section of the document where you can get to understand the workflow, get to understand how it works in more detail. Now, whenever I make updates to any of the workflows, for example, just to make it more optimized or in line with the new software releases or updates of high level, what I then do is I update the documentation, I update the snapshot, and I send all my agencies that have license to it a new snapshot link. And then I keep a reference point on every single update all the way down back to starting in March last year. So you can go here and you can really quickly understand, okay, what are the latest changes, what Vit has done lately that I need to be aware of, and is it something that I need to worry about, or I'm okay and stay with the older version of the snapshot for now. You make the decision. All I do is provide you with always up-to-date documentation and the most up-to-date snapshots. So that's documentation. Each module has its own documentation. It's very robust documentation. This documentation alone is like 250 pages. Whilst it might feel overwhelming, there is obviously a lot of information. There's no way around it. Now, the good thing is that if you have VIs, if you got people working for you at your agency and you want them to do fulfillment of these modules into your client's sub accounts, all you need to do is just let me know their email addresses and I'll give them access to this documentation as well. So they can just simply follow the user manual or the checklist, and then it's in a way it's providing an SOP for you, done, ready to go SOP for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and they just work off the checklist and they do the setup for you. Here we go, the system setup checklist. So your VAs can just go here and starting from how they configure custom values for that particular module, everything is explained, and they just need to follow the bouncy ball, and there you go. All right, so that's documentation. Let me just go back here and show you more on the back end, like I promised, on the system. So here we have five different folders. Each one has a different amount of funnels. Let me just go into each really quickly so you can see the extent of what's included. There's a lot that's included, hence why the price of the system is $3,497 at the price of making this video. It may be different right now that you're looking at the website, but here, the very first thing is you need to generate leads, right? So you need to attract the leads. There are two funnels. Later on, I might be adding more, but for now, just to get you going, there's a business audit funnel, which is powered with AI. So when a lead goes to your website, let me just show you a real quick example. They go to your website and they want to get a free audit of their business. Now, typically audits is not very fancy. It's a bit boring, but you want to sell it as a value point for them. That's why this page has been carefully designed to actually highlight the value of the audit, what it can do for their business, highlighting some critical areas of their business that need to be aware. That gets them more inclined to actually take the audit. I actually call it a scorecard. So the call to action is take the scorecard, and it takes them to a custom design survey where there's lots of yes and no questions. I'm not going through it. But at the end of it, it generates a unique result that gets sent to them as an email. Let me just show you an example. All right, so here's an example of an email that gets sent to the customer once they fill it up. The email is dynamically populated from information via text as well as images. So these little dials, they are actually dynamically populated using custom values based on the total score, including percentage counting. And then, so that's the visual aspect of the result. And then also there's a actual recommendation, like specific recommendation for each areas of their business. Now, the business audit is split into three areas: marketing, lead gen, sales. It's very evergreen, niche agnostic. It's applicable to any business. That's how I build it. So they get this, for example, marketing. If you read it, you will actually notice that this is very specific based on their answers. It highlights some of the questions that they said yes that they are doing, but also highlights some of the shortcomings that they're not doing. And at the end, it wraps it around with some recommendation. All of this is driven by AI that's already built and configured inside the workflows. So it's an exceptional resource, and all you need to do is just do really good content marketing, articles, content on socials, and driving traffic to your business audit page and highlighting the value of why businesses should take that business audit. And you end up with having lots of information about a potential lead. So when you call them, you already know a lot about their business. So it's a really good lead generating source. It doesn't happen on its own. You still need to drive traffic to these pages, but obviously that's a part of any business, right? So that's the first one that you get. And then the other one is a demo call funnel. Now, the play on this is really simple. You might have a customer that wants to buy now, right? So let's say, for example, they end up on a pricing page, but they just need a little bit more convincing. They're just not ready to buy now, right? They are maybe in the consideration stage of the buyer journey, right? So they can simply scroll down here and they just want to see it in action. So if they put an email down here, it's going to take them to a demo page, pre-recorded video, which obviously is not part of the snapshot because my recorded videos are based around my white label version, but I can provide guidance on how you can go about creating that video for yourself really easily using one of the third-party partners in High Level that I work with. More about that later. Anyway, so this is another really great lead gen funnels. It works as part of this. It's also referenced on the homepage as a button here. You watch a demo. You can also have a section on the main homepage, which I don't here in this example, but it's just as easy as adding a section. So those are the two lead gen funnels. Now, let's say somebody comes through and they put their details. So now you've got them in a CRM. Now, how are you going to convert them? So there is basically, this is where it takes me to step number 2, sales funnels. So there's 7 different sales funnels, sales conversion tools, from discovery call to strategy call. So this is a really good strategy for selling higher ticket. You get somebody on discovery and then get them to pay for a strategy. Another one might be a really quick one, just like a basic sales call, like a request a callback one. Then you obviously have the actual purchasing funnel where people are actually ready to buy now. So they go into the SaaS registration funnel, which is the pricing page, and then individual checkout pages. And then this is the one-click upsell. So this would be like a traditional tripwire funnel where they've already made the purchase on for the plan that they picked, and now they're here on this page and they no longer have to put their payment details again. They just click here as a one-click upsell. And this is what I recommend you do is you charge people for setup. You could obviously have the setup as a non-optional thing as part of your purchase, but I prefer to have it as an optional thing and tell people that they can get it for a deal, but only during that initial purchasing journey. If they miss out on this and they leave this page, they'll never get it for that same price. It'll only be for $1,500. Now I have a separate funnel for that pricing, and that's also part of the SaaS agency system. So this page is really simple. They want it, they click the yellow button, they say no thanks, I have plenty of time to spare, I'll handle it myself. They'll just click that. If they click that, in either case, it's just going to take them to confirmation of the payment page. And then here is where the onboarding starts, right? So the first thing is the account registration, where they fill up a survey, where they provide a lot more information about their business so that you can properly help them. And then what happens after this is, so this is taking me to the onboarding funnels here. Number 4, wrong funnel, wrong folder. Here, folder number 3, account setup and onboarding funnels. So let me take you really quickly through this one. Account registration form. So this was the form, the survey form. And then when they complete it, it takes them to this page. And here's where the onboarding becomes a lot more streamlined. So your customers get taken to this page. At this point, they've paid. At this point, they've completed a survey. They've told you a little bit more about their business, because this is on, I've got a $497 plan. So on the back end, The SaaS configurator has now sent them a welcome email and has created an account, all those things. So that's all happening on the back end already. And now they're taken to this page where we're welcoming them and we're telling them, hey, we're thrilled to have you on board. Here are the pieces of the puzzle that need to fall in place to ensure that your new account is fully ready, so you can start to use the software. Quicker the setup is done, quicker you'll be able to generate revenue and use the software and leverage from it, right? So the setup, there is 10 different steps, actually 12 different steps, individual, like a puzzle of the pieces. This page is also part of the agency, as part of the SaaS agency system. So you get this. Now, the way I've built this is I wanted to make it as self-service as possible. I wanted the customer to do as much work and minimize back and forth trying to ask for information from a client. Good example being asking for branding resources, asking a client for logos, color codes, things like that. Instead, the client simply goes to the page. They just click the get me a branding. Every single one of these pages is very similar. It's to inform the client what we need and why we need it, so they feel comfortable and they understand what's being asked of them. And then there is a survey for each individual thing that we're asking for. So in this example, we want the branding resources. So there are fields for submitting the logos, there are fields for submitting favicon, there are additional fields further down the track in the survey where they provide things like what's their slogan, what's their logo, a tagline, all that stuff. And then they submit it, and then the branding resources are provided, and that's done. The reason why it's broken down like this is if you had a one big survey and asked for everything, it'd be a pain in the ass for the client. They need all the information at hand when they're filling these things, and it's much better to have it broken down like this. So that's how this works. Let me just show you another example. For example, the Google assets. This is really important if you're also handling, you want to configure their Google Analytics, get access to their ads account, things like that. There's a little bit more information on this particular page explaining again what we need, why we need it, and that at any point when the client is ready, they can just click that yellow button, which takes them down the page. And if they're not ready, if they've got more questions, it takes them to the FAQ page. So it's just covering all the bases, trying to minimize interaction with a client as much as possible, let them inform themselves just on this page. Everything on this page is being carefully written. There's a lot of information that I've put in. And guess what? It's also part of the SaaS agency system. So this is already doing a lot of work. Now, at any point, at any of these steps on the setup steps, you'll see this big red box. And this is basically highlighting to the customer that, hey, you can fill up any of these, which is great, but we will actually action on it. We'll only handle the setup on especially the item 5 to 11, which are the technical integrations and setup, right? 5 through to 11, like phone, email, setting up analytics, integrating websites with chat widget, all that we are saying to the customer, hey, we are only going to set it up for you if you pay for the account setup. So again, if they haven't done it at the beginning, this is just being reminded to them that this option exists. And at any point, they can just click on these buttons. Also, on any of these pages, it's referenced everywhere, so they can't miss it. But obviously, as I said at the beginning, at this point, because they've missed out on the $997 deal, now they pay a full price, which is $1,500. So that's the logic there. Obviously, if they contact you, you might want to do a deal, in which case it's as easy as creating a coupon code. So you have that flexibility. All right, so let me take you to the last remaining piece of the SaaS agency system. Obviously, the onboarding and the setup is where a lot of the work is, and each one of these is powered by workflows. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into workflows in a second. But the last remaining two pieces is the customer support funnel. So at this stage, this is when the customer has the account set up, account onboarded, they just need regular support. Now, here is where next opportunity to upsell a customer comes in, and that is a premium support. By default, if you got a customer and you charge them $297 a month, I don't recommend that you give them unlimited amount of one-on-one Zoom calls and things like that, because that is not scalable. Instead, what you do is you set up something called open office hours, where it's one-to-many. And then aside from that, you give them an option to submit a support ticket, which is something that you can then hire a bunch of VAs and they can handle it for you. The support ticket page is already built as well. It looks like this. Now, when you look at this page, there are a couple of things and that are on this page that they are referencing to features that are not part of the system. For example, interactive help guides. white label support portal. Those two features are not part of a SaaS agency system. These are part of a company called HL Pro Tools that give you this. You just pay them a monthly fee. All right. I have an affiliate link and I have more information. I can cover this for you. So when you buy the SaaS agency system, I can show you whether this is something that you might consider as well. But I do recommend it because, again, this stuff reduces the amount of support tickets you get from clients, because these help guides, let me just show you this. These help guides, they just pop up like a button here, like wherever you are. So right now I'm in automations, and it just gives me, hey, learn about workflows. This is what my customer sees as well. So they can easily just go through the walkthrough guide and learn about the stuff. And it's great. Now, so that's the first thing. The white label support portal is also excellent. I have it hosted on my own domain as well. Once again, this is HL Pro Tools. You pay them a license, they let you fully brand it. They look after creating all the help articles, so you don't have to create any help articles at all. And everything is hosted on your, like a help dot, like a subdomain of your SaaS business. Your logo's up the top there. And you do have option to add additional articles in yourself, but already there's a lot of stuff, and your customers can just search, they can find what they're looking for, they can educate themselves, and they can learn how to set things up in the system themselves. So you have that covered. Again, I highly recommend it because it reduces chances of them asking you about it. But obviously, there's still going to be some edge cases. They're going to be asking you for help, or maybe they're stuck with something, or something's not working. Whatever that is, you still want to have a basic support ticketing option, and that is this one here. That is also part of the SaaS agency system. Now, an open office hours here, where they can book an open office hours, right? So one to many. But what I've also done here on this page is where I'm highlighting that if they want a more premium experience, more hands-on, more proactive support, to not only the technical support but also success of their business, this is where you might want to upsell them to this thing I call the premium account support. And if they click on this page, it's basically a sales page which is highlighting this product or this service really and what's included. Now, this is the setup that I have in my agency. You can shave it off, you can remove things if you don't want to do that, but this is what I recommend: having a dedicated success advisor, a person on your team that is assigned to that account and the end customer can reach out to. Offering your customer a dedicated 1 hour consulting call with a team of specialists. This could be totally like a network of strategic partners that you work with. Having somebody that's strategically advising them on the marketing side of things and how they are working that into the system, into high level or your white level version. Having somebody proactively monitoring their account, things like open rates, email marketing, and then advising the client on what they could do better next month. And obviously offering an unlimited one-to-one tech Zoom support. So this is a very high value service that you want to upsell to your client and charge at least $1,500 a month and above. What's nice thing about this is that it's a subscription that your customers pays, and now you make an additional 1,500 or more, depending on how you charge this. So now we already have a subscription. Let me just rewind the back a bit. Now we have these. So these are the opportunities what you can do. You can sell a subscription, right? Like traditional SaaS. Let's say you got 3 plans, right? So you can sell subscription. You can You can upsell them the done for you setup just for the account. You can upsell them for the premium support, and then you can also upsell them with done for you systems, right? This is where you go to your client and say, hey, now you've got the software, you've got these features, it's set up, you've got phone connected, you've got things connected, you've got some basic things set up. Here's where we can take it to the next level for your business. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to automations that drive your business. And we've done all the work already for you. We've built these automations. We have these different modules. We call it a profit roadmap. Ideally, you want all of them, and they cover every aspect of any business all the aspects that any business would need in order to grow and scale profitably, from generating leads, converting leads, improving reputation, generating referrals, improving sales conversion, improving lead nurture, optimizing sales process, optimizing ads. All those, and if you and what I've everything I've just mentioned, if you look at this diagram, these are the names. This is how it works, and you really want to work through in that particular order, ideally, and there is a logic behind it. Now, so this is basically another way how you can generate more revenue. You pitch this to a client and you say, hey, on average, each module costs about from $1,500 to $3,000, which is a lot more affordable than if you come around to your client and say, hey, it's going to cost you 20, 30,000 for the whole setup. You might get those that have money, which is you always want to approach those, and that would be going through discovery onto a strategy, the high ticket. But for the smaller businesses that they can't afford it, you do it gradually. And then the easy thing about selling this is that you already have these sales pages that do the work for you. They inform the client, they clarify the logic why they would want it, and then when they're ready, they can just buy and they just purchase. And then when they purchase, because you already have the snapshot that you buy from me, all you do is just import the snapshot into their sub account, use the documentation that I provide through ClickUp, which, by the way, you can delegate it to a VA. Your VA does the setup for the client, which doesn't really take that much time. Once you get it through a couple of times, you get really, really efficient. And that's another really and a high profit as well, by the way. One more thing I think I wanted to highlight here is just go back to funnels. So one more thing is the profit roadmap system. So that's the last one. So in this one here, you have three individual pages for the individual modules. So like I said, those modules on their own, they don't come with the snapshot, with the SaaS agency system, but you will get the sales pages. So they help you sell those modules so that you can afford to pay me and buy those snapshots. Makes a perfect logical way to do it like this. And each one is pretty straightforward. You get a sales page and there's a pop-up for a two-step order form and then a confirmation page like this with a call to action typically to do the next thing. Or not this one here, but it's just to inform them. System setup in progress. There you go. Customer just paid for you to do the setup for them. That's all they need to know, that you're working on it. And one more thing that's part of the SaaS agency system, it's a fully developed website. So there's a lot of pages here covering legal assets as well, privacy policy, terms of service, disclaimer, cookie policy. Now, these pages don't include the actual legal things. They're placeholder pages, but I do have a provider that I work with, and I can advise you on how you can generate your legal terms really easily. So that's there. This one here is included and it's already written for you, and it's powered through custom values. This page here called the fees, which is one of the biggest mistakes that little SaaS agencies do. And they wonder why people are claiming back their money on subscription because they weren't properly informed about the additional fees they have to pay for phone calls, for sending SMS, for using AI content generation, for using premium workflow actions. And the mistake is that those agencies, they haven't done the due diligence and they weren't transparent at the beginning of the relationship with the client. And I don't recommend it. What I do instead is when I sign up a new customer, when I'm doing an onboarding call, I highlight the fees and I make them aware. I say to them, hey, you're paying for software. There are additional fees you need to be aware of. Just go to this page and you can get to learn about every single fee, how much it's charged. And I've never had a problem, by the way. The customers understand it. This is perfectly logical. But if I wouldn't have told them about this and then they get these additional charges, then they wouldn't be that happy. Not a great way to start a relationship. And if somebody's paying you $400 for a software, you don't want to lose them just because they didn't know about $20 additional fee. And whilst it's small money, you could say it's not about the money, it's that they didn't know. And I hate it myself. So this page is included as part of the SaaS agency system. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so you need to do your due diligence and make sure that the wording works for you. But it's a really good starting point. Other pages that are included as part of the website, obviously the homepage that you've seen. There's a contact us page like this, basic contact us page. There is, so these are the legal pages. There's a 404 page so that you actually have a place to send people to as opposed to the default high level 4041 that doesn't have anything on it. There is a blog page, pretty straightforward. And obviously, there's the profit roadmap system sales page to explain how that works, like I said. And then there is also one page, feature selling page that just sells the native feature of high level. In this case, we're looking at the chat widget. All right. So you have a template like this that you can also have and drive traffic to. So if that's one thing you want to sell, just selling a feature as opposed to modules, you have that And I do build more of these pages as time goes. So it's not hard for me to then, even if you already set up the whole SaaS agency system and I have those pages later, it's not easy for me to, it's not difficult for me to just put a separate snapshot and send you those pages. One more page also that's included is the social links page. This is a page that I recommend that you set up and then you send it to, and then you set it up on your Instagram, your link in bio, your Facebook. So you got a nice, easy page to send people to for all the important links, and you get that part of the SaaS agency system as well. Now, this is a longer video than intended, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to show you one more thing, and that's the automations, and I'll wrap it up. I'm not going to go into the automations in detail, but just so you know. Now, again, disregard these ones up the top. These are part of different systems, my modules. Just look at the SaaS agency 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one here, profit roadmap. When you get a snapshot, all the other ones won't be there. I'm just showing on a live account, so that's why it's showing you a lot more stuff. So as I said, everything is powered through workflows. Even just the sales workflows have a whole bunch of automations, and this is the one that's powering the discovery calls, strategy calls, consultation calls, upselling, post-purchase, onboarding, welcome experience, things like that. Account setup and onboarding has a lot of workflows as well, powering every single individual bit on those 12 steps to keep you notified, to keep the client notified, and keep on telling them what else yet they need to do to complete the setup on the account. So everything is very much automated and straightforward. One more thing, actually, I'm going to show you one more thing, and that is if the client doesn't want to pay for done for them setup, they just want to do the setup themselves. What I've done is each one of these request pages, like in this case, asking for DNS access, each of the survey forms have a qualifying and disqualifying questions. So just to show you an example, in here, if a client comes around and say, hey, do you have any domains for your business? And they say, yeah, I have. And then they put, I have these domains. And then you ask them, hey, which domain do you want us to configure? And they put this in. And then on the next question, it's going to say, hey, where's your domain hosted? And they might say it's GoDaddy. Then it's actually going to populate the instructions on how they can provide you with the access. Now, the email address here and the name, these are my login credentials, and they are pulled in from custom values. So all you need to do with SaaS agency system, you just set up all the custom values and everything is filled in. So you don't have to go to these pages and funnels and surveys. It's all done for you. Now, here's the qualify, disqualify stage. Is when they click next, here is what we're going to ask. Hey, have you done the steps and granted us access? And then if they say, yes, I've done it, it's going to take them to a page. But if they say, no, I'm stuck and need help, or no, I don't want to, it's going to take them to a different page. So this is where you can see here, DNS access submitted or disqualified. If it's submitted, it's going to say something like this. It's going to say, hey, thank you for sending us the access. We will now go ahead and do stuff. And here's what you need to do next. And this is taking them down the bouncy ball to the next thing, which is the website. Now, if they were disqualified, where they said, no, I didn't give you access or didn't want to give you access, then it's going to say, no worries. Here are instructions on how you do this yourself. What we were planning to do for you, here's how you do it yourself. So you need to set up your dedicated email sending domain. You need to link your domain to, this is what we needed the DNS for, right? We need to link domain so you can host the funnels, and then also for the email purposes. And we usually do it through Cloudflare, and we recommended you do the same. And here's how you do it. Instructions are there, and happy days. But on these pages, on these disqualified pages, what we have is if they actually change their mind and they actually, after reading this, you know what, I don't understand this stuff, just do it for me, then they can just click here and they can fill it in again, but this time submit the access. So that's how it works. It's much more scalable way, and I'm going to leave it at that. So to wrap it up, if you are interested in buying this system, you have two options. You can go to vitmuller.com website, click on GHL snapshots, click on SaaS Agency System to learn more. It takes you to the page that outlines everything that I've covered, but in text, and then you just buy it now. It's a two-step form. So you fill up this information, and the next page is where you're going to pay the amount. Currently, I'm making this video, it's $4,497. Now, here's how you can get a discount 30% discount by going to, let me just go to main page here. Got a slightly different footer on these funnel pages. So going to vitmuller.com and you go down the bottom and you click on our high level offer. Also, you get a little pop up here. Or you can just put in a browser, vitmuller.com/high level, same thing. It'll take you to this page. And this is my high level offer. This is basically showing to you is that if you're not with high level, you can sign up through me. Or if you already are on high level and you can upgrade through me, or you upgrade to 497 through me, either of those options, obviously I get affiliate revenue, which is the 40%. That's what I benefit, and that's what it makes business sense to me, is to offer you something in return so that you go through me instead of another high level affiliate. What I offer you is this. You get my Fast Track to Success course, which is a whole bunch of really good videos that will guide you and educate you. You get 3-hour consulting calls, so 1 hour each, worth $500. You get the Essential Business Marketing, which is module 1 from the Profit Roadmap. You get 30% discount on the SaaS Agency System that I've just covered in very detail on this video. And you get also a treasure trove of lots of really good resources, tools, checklists. I've got a whole bunch of things that will help you run your agency even smoother. There's a lot of stuff there, from spreadsheets, Google Docs, templates, lots of good stuff there. And obviously, I have a Facebook group community at the time of making this video on Facebook. Maybe it'll be turned into community on high level. But either way, you get access to community where you can get help. And I also run webinars and things like that to further help you on your journey of high level. So that's what you get. Total value of this is $3,277. So you get all of this if you basically sign up to high level through me, or you upgrade. If you're already in high level, you upgrade, you also get those. So that's the option 2 if you want to get the SaaS agency system at a discount. And that's a hefty discount, by the way. All right, so that covers up the video. If you have more questions, you can go and reach out. You can click on this button here in the footer called Let's Chat. It's going to take you to this page here, and you can book a call and we can have a quick chat about any remaining questions that you may have to help you make an informed decision.